Hi, it's Andrew Huffer here from the Facilitators Inner Circle, and I have 6 quick tips here to help you in running an effective workshop as a facilitator. And I'm going to run through these fairly quickly because I know you're busy. So the first one is thinking about POP. And this helps you in getting ready for any workshop, because too often we fall into the trap as facilitators of thinking, what techniques do I have to use? What's the processes I'll take people through, without actually mapping it properly, thinking about overall, what do I need to achieve? What's the overall aim or purpose of the workshop? What's it actually going to produce in terms of outcomes? And then mapping the processes accordingly. So think about POP, your friend in a time of need. The second quick tip is always thinking that your opinion doesn't count. As hard as that may sound, it's about the participants. So making sure that you have a series of mapped, pre-worked out questions that will continually lead the participants on in an iterative way towards achieving the workshop outcomes and workshop purpose. Another quick tip here is, if you do ask a question, give people some space to answer it. It's often people who are very quick-minded or possibly impatient, they just want to get the answers out from the group, and they're sort of going quick, give me an answer, rather than putting the question out there and giving people some space to think about what that question means. If you're having trouble with this, another easy tip is just to ask a question and count in your mind: 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4. It just gives people that little bit of thinking space to move on with. Next one, another technique to help involve people is, when you ask a question, use the air, pair, share approach. Air your question, get people to talk about it in pairs, and get them to share it back with the group. The benefit of this means that the questions aren't always being answered by the same 1 or 2 people in the group. It means that everyone has a chance to do some thinking, do some quiet discussion, and then bring it back to the group. So it's a technique which virtually guarantees full participation from your group. The next tip is, at the start of the workshop, or even beforehand, perhaps using an online survey, is find out what people are wanting from their time there. They're giving up valuable time to be there. We want to make sure that they get the most out of it. And another good 1%er tip here is, once you've got them to actually write down their own expectations, have them keep those expectations in front of them for the rest of the day. And the reason to do that is to make sure that this keeps them focused. So you can ask the question of them, or even put a challenge to them. Say, if you find yourself being distracted throughout the day, find yourself drifting off, come back to these expectations to make sure you're getting what you want out of the workshop. And if not, let me know and we'll talk about it. The next one is, have the plan. Think of plan C. Often our workshop questions and process can be almost a fantasy for the day, thinking, yes, this will all happen within this time frame. Then I'll go to the next step, and I've got 15 minutes to do that. It's not always the case. So keep a big eye out, look around, see what's going on, and find out if we're still on track to achieve the outcomes and purpose of the day. Just ask a question here and there, make some observations, step back. And finally, remember the importance of being focused. Again, think back to what the purpose is, what the outcomes are, and making sure that this happens as you go along. In documentation, my tip for that is try and get participants to do the documentation of workshop outputs as you go. I often use A3 templates or A0 templates that they can work on in groups and basically do the workshop for you, and then you can go and get someone to type them up for you. So your work is done. So there are quick 6 tips to help you run a good workshop. If you're looking for more support, please come over to the Facilitators Inner Circle website, and you'll see more practical tips and how-to templates in the members section. Looking forward to seeing you there, and